Okay, welcome everybody to our Clean Core, Clean Value, Rethinking Master Data for SAP S4 Transformation, brought to you by Prospecta. Today we have Larrie Brysch, and I'm your host, Randy, again, and we're going to
Howdy,
talk
Randy.
about something that's really interesting. Um, SAP's newest plan called Clean Core. Um, I think it's a great thing that they're doing here, something that's been needed a long time. Larry, we're going to talk about that. I'll let you explain clean core and what it means to all of us SAP users.
Well, good to be back with you, Randy. We don't really get to sit down and discuss, best practices and SAP theory or just data theories in general, unless we have one of these sessions. So happy to be here. We always have a good talk, no matter where it is.
Absolutely.
Clean core, oh wow, it means a lot of things to a lot of different people, really. Even when you discuss it with different SAP corporate people, so to speak. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It does mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. There are a lot of things that excite me about it. When we talk about clean core, to me, we look at getting rid of Z fields, getting rid of Z transactions, all the customization that's been done in the past for various reasons. But to get rid of that and say, okay, we're going to keep a clean core. SAP has best practice. We're going to use that. To me, is a great thing. I come from the consulting background and doing implementations, and I've never had an implementation in my career that didn't have customizations in it. So to see that that's what they're pushing today, I think makes a whole lot of sense. How about telling me your history?
Yeah. Many years ago, I actually got to see a truly out of the box SAP implementation for a larger company, and it really did not go all that well. But it was also in a time before good MDM solutions that run parallel and in concert with SAP were there. So to me, there was many times a good valid business case back then for those Z fields and all of those user exits and customizations, just because we didn't have a good tool set that interfaced with SAP like we do now. I think Clean Core, especially in the last few years, has just started making more and more and more sense as we have these specialized tools that can interface with SAP or really any database that you have, to where you can do a lot of your control outside without custom fields, custom code, having to run a bunch of ABAP code, etc. So yeah, long time ago it made no sense. Now it makes perfect sense. This is the perfect time and the perfect place.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. One of the things that I've seen over the years, customization back in the day was a necessary evil. I don't think it is today. And what's happened is because of the customizations we did in previous iterations of SAP or even in other ERPs, and we moved to SAP and we brought those along with us, had those customizations made in SAP, and we've kept doing that. We've now limited what we can do. We've cut out some of the ability, the new things that we could be doing because we're so tied to these old Z transactions, these old customizations. And so to be able to clean that up and go into this new era, which to me, when we're going to talk about AI as well today, because you can't do anything with today without talking about AI, and that's a good thing. It's to me, changes are coming quicker in this part of my career as we're coming to an end than it ever did in the beginning. I mean, we're seeing AI is really changing the forefront of what we're going to do. So we'll discuss that. But I
Oh,
agree with you that now is the time to do this. It's important.
yeah, back to your point, I've seen where people are afraid to turn on new options, new configuration in SAP because they're not sure what it'll do to their custom code, their user exits, etc.
Exactly.
So yeah, it can become a very, very limiting factor, and let's just get away from that. Is really the best thing to say, and the best time to do it is during an S4 transformation, during a major upheaval in your company, or even whenever you're just getting ready for that S4 transformation. Let's start pulling all of those rules out and putting them into your master data solution. You can even do it beforehand
Yeah,
and
well,
make things much more simple on your transformation.
yep.
That's another whole option.
Since you brought that up, let me ask you a question. Why does master data specifically? I mean, when we're talking about materials, vendors, customers, functional locations, equipment, need to live outside the SAP core rather than being managed within it. What do you think?
Yes, with an asterisk. I'm going to put some lawyer speak on that.
Okay.
Some people pull their master data out of SAP for management, and then they start thinking, well, this external system is my system of record. And I completely disagree with that.
Oh, not completely. Come on, not completely. I think Larry and I are going to have our first disagreement or quasi disagreement since we've been doing these things. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Larry.
As a system of record, no. And to me, system of record becomes, basically what all your laws and compliance and everything are based off of. And to me, that should always return back to your central ERP system. You can apply rules. You can apply history tracking. You can see why you're making the changes. You can see who is pushing the changes and everything through your MDM platform. But when you're looking to get the core data that you're running your day-to-day business off of, you should always be going back to the well that is your system of record. What's your thought?
So, today I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
But let me start with this. One of the things I see is that when we're not just dealing with SAP with our ERP, we're dealing with other solutions as well, GIS solutions, those type of things, Coupa, any other solution that we're also bringing data, pushing data to, pulling data from. I believe that it makes sense for the MDM to be the solution of record, system of record, because it's pushing and pulling from all of those places. That's today. All right. In the very near future, I'm going to agree with you, because what we have is clean core, and what we're also, and yourself that Prospecta right now in MDO, we are moving towards zero copy. So when we move to zero copy, and when the industry is moving to zero copy, then we're not actually bringing the data over. We're
You're not a
manipulating
system
and
of
managing
anything.
the data where it is. So at that point, yes, I agree with you. So today I'm not sure that the technology and stuff is quite to that point. Maybe it is. It's close. It's really close. But right now, I think there is still the option to make your MDM the one source of truth as we stand today. As we stand tomorrow, and literally the way things are moving, it could be just that quick tomorrow. I would agree with you. So I guess I'm going to put that caveat in there. I think we need to look at different situations, but I will absolutely agree with you that it is coming to the day very soon where whatever we're doing, we'll be pulling data or manipulating the data either in a data lake or at the own system, but we're not going to be copying the data over and becoming the one source of truth. Can we agree? Can we find a middle ground, an agreement there?
Yeah. And I'm going to say that a lawyer actually helped me make that leap. I know you hate that term, but I used to work with a corporate counsel that said, well, system of record depends on which platform you're standing on.
Yeah.
What's your use case? And yeah, so I can take it that way as well. No, excellent thought. And yeah, I mean, clean core is getting rid of all the special stuff in that core system, so that way then you can do better things with it elsewhere. So that comes back to your zero copy and data lakes.
So then, how does an MDM solution feed SAP without compromising that clean core principle? Walk us through what you think that integration looks like. I think we've already expounded a little bit on it, but let's dive a little deeper.
Yeah, to me, the way the MDM solution feeds it is that you do all of your data transformation your changes, your suggestions, apply all of your rules, all those things that you used to hide in numerous user exits and Z fields, you can now hide or actually bring out into the light in your MDM solution, a solution that's made custom tailored for doing that and can be done much more easily with an actual rules engine rather than custom code, with an actual workflow engine instead of custom code. It all is so much easier when you pull it into a system custom designed for that, that then integrates with your SAP system and pushes that pure, clean data over there. At the same time, this MDM solution can be pushing that same data that was brought together in one spot to other core systems within your enterprise.
Yep, absolutely. I see where you bring those controls, you bring those rules, you bring those customizations type things that you need to do. You bring it into your MDM solution. You make those changes there so that you're not cluttering up SAP doing it. And you're able to set all those requirements and everything right within your MDM solution, especially a solution like MDO, which again, I guess we were ahead of the curve a little bit. You don't really customize MDO. Nobody customizes. I don't think I've ever had a customer yet in MDO Fuse that we've customized for. We configure. You can configure it, and it was built to be configurable so that you can make those changes within the MDO system and the MDO configuration so that it works. Now, there may come a day when we actually have to customize for somebody. Just haven't seen it yet. Not saying it couldn't happen, saying I haven't seen it yet. And there may be somebody that I don't know about. But the one thing I'll say about MDO is it's completely configurable. So I think that's where we need to look at going, because with SAP Clean Core, you're going to need to be able to have an MDM solution that can configure to what you need and deal with these type of things that you used to deal with Z fields and Z transactions in MDO rather than, or in your MDM solution rather than in SAP.
And especially in an S4 transformation, or moving into any database platform, if you actually take a look at what would the cost be to customize that program, to handle all of those rules, to handle all those Z fields, all of that customization cost, if you take a look at that, customizing a program that isn't built for that versus the cost of a solution like MDO that's built for it, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I
I
don't have to
mean,
think about it. Yeah, for sure.
it's a no-brainer. It is really the low-cost way to get all of that moved over and have the option for enhancements later as you continue to go on. Because I remember having to, if I needed a new rule in my ERP system, it was basically a year out. Not months, not days. It was a year out because you had to budget for it, because just getting simple code change was so heavy.
Right.
Not the case with the technologies we have today.
And the time and the risk that was involved in doing it as well. I don't know how many projects I were on where we simply said, walked it back and said, no, it's become neither financially feasible. The time constraints are too much. We're just going to have to find a different solution.
Or it gets delayed because, we're too close to quarter end, we're too close to year end, we cannot rock the boat right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, if they're watching this, are shaking their heads. Oh yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, preaching to the choir, man. Preaching to the choir. Okay, let's go on to data governance and standardization. We're already 15 minutes in almost, so we'll maybe make up some ground, or if not, we'll do a second or even a third part if we need to. So let's
Oh
look at
yeah.
that. What kinds of data quality problems do you commonly see organizations trying to solve with custom logic inside SAP? And I think we've already discussed why it's risky long term. We can maybe talk about it a little more. But what kinds of data quality problems do you commonly see them trying to address?
One The one that just jumps out at me, especially here lately, is actually just ease of use, guiding the person to pick the right data and the right fields. And they oftentimes, your best source of data is not someone who is computer savvy. And that's where, to bring up your favorite word, AI, is coming into play now, where natural language can be used to actually populate the forms. Pull your data directly off of, your source material, be it a PDF or even a picture, so to speak. Uh, just helping people make the right choices whenever they know what needs to be in the system. They know, they have it in their head. It's just getting it into that system of record. So I see lots of times the custom logic inside SAP being driven just to make people make the right choices, keep data fields in sync, keep the relationships alive. That's probably the biggest driver I've seen. You can start talking about the little things as far as, making sure that a field is valid and, is under a certain number of characters or contains no certain characters. That's the easy stuff. I'm talking about the hard stuff, pulling that information out of their brain. What's your thought?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I see the same things, the same problems and the same issues, and a lot of times it's very much users trying to populate stuff that they don't need to do, um, and being able to control that and control what they're choosing. And I think AI is making a huge difference in that already. I know in MDO it is, because now you don't need to go to a form and fill out a form to create a new material or a new equipment or a task list or whatever. You can just literally ask Kai to do it, tell Kai what you need, and Kai will do it. So,
And even a step beyond that, the SAP forms can be very complex, very deep, tabs hidden within tabs, uh, so to speak. Whereas if you have a purpose built form or query, running in your MDM system, that can actually limit the options to the user so they're not overwhelmed as well.
absolutely. Um, so, how does the MDO? Sorry, check that. We're gonna wait on that one just a minute. Um,
Okay.
can you describe how MDM driven validations, duplications, and quality checks actually changes the data before it reaches SAP?
Well, one, I'd have to ask, have you ever seen a duplication check done well inside of an ERP system?
I'm sorry, did I laugh out loud? No.
I haven't. Maybe there are smarter people out there than me or have, deeper experience, but I haven't seen a duplication check being very robust yet. It can be very, very succinct, but as far as getting fuzzy, I can't say I've seen it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, to me, that's the biggest thing is you bring a whole nother set of tools in with your MDM, MDO especially, that can help you actually find those true duplicates. I have seen companies that have even decided that, okay, we're going to let the duplicates in and find them after the fact rather than at the point of creation,
Yes.
which I think is a little too late because then you have to go clean that up. And that's a whole nother work process. And in companies where they didn't have active duplication checks, I've run into people that, how can I say this? It was far easier for them to create the thing they needed than it was for them to search for the thing that they needed. So they would just create multiple duplicates because they just didn't have the search capabilities to find the thing they needed.
They had no concern with how many times that XYZ bearing was in their material master. It could be in there 46 times. They were going to create a new one when they needed it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It was the
Absolutely.
path of least resistance for them.
Distance. It was easiest for them. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Um,
Whereas in MDO, you can have it not only say that there is a duplicate, but what the potential duplicates are. So that way it's giving them the reference right away. Well, why don't you go look over here?
Yeah, and absolutely. When it stops you from doing it, now it becomes less easy just to create one. It becomes much easier, especially in MDO search, to go find it. So,
Yep.
so yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with you. And the other thing I would say is, um, I think we're getting out of the situation of expecting SAP to be everything for everybody or to do everything within house, and not just SAP. I mean, um, if if I need to go to Lowe's and pick up some lumber, I take my truck, not
Okay.
my wife's RAV4. If you understand what I'm saying, we need tools that are built for the job that we need to do, and rather than trying to make everything do everything, or every software is SAP do everything, doesn't need to do that. We have solutions that handle this. MDO is the best MDM solution out there. Why do you want SAP to handle MDM for you?
Well, yeah. And for some folks, what's the saying? Everything looks like a nail when you're a hammer.
Exactly, exactly. That's uh, a great way to look at it. Um, what's the tangible business impact when data governance shifts from being reactive, fixing bad data in SAP, to proactive, preventing it in the MDM tool, which is where we should be?
Right, right. And we kind of talked about that already. That find and fix mentality. Let's find it after the fact. Uh, Gosh, when I've seen corporations have an entire audit team that is spending, hours of their week for searching out for bad situations over and over again because they have no mechanism to prevent it. They have a list of things that they look for that they know are going to reoccur. That already is a misuse. That audit team should be out there looking for new ways that data could be better. They should be out there looking at ways to improve that data. Those hours would be way better spent saying, okay, here's another problem. Let's make a rule to prevent this. Or let's find a way, here's a data deficiency, even where we're not filling in the data we should be that could actually bring X dollars of value to the company. That's a way better use of their time rather than going back and fixing the same thing over and over again for years. Makes absolutely no sense. Why would you do that in any company? But yet in data, it's almost a given. Uh,
Yeah,
Shake my head.
I, I used to say, and I said to my kids, and I'll give you an example of this, that any job worth doing is worth doing right the first time. Back when I was about 16 years old, my my first car, I was so happy with it. The exhaust pipe broke, literally broke in half. Right? I tried everything. I tried using hose clamps. I tried using, somebody told me to use a hose clamp and put a soup can around it and all kinds of different things to try and fix this. Nothing worked more than a day. It would get hot and burn off. Finally, I went to the muffler shop and he welded it back together for $15. That's been a while back, but obviously it was worth doing the first time, and it cost me way more money in the end than it would have if I'd just done it right. It's the same thing with our data. If we create it right the first time, it's a lot less expensive than it is going back and look at it and trying to fix it. I used to
And
say
I think that's actually a really good point to close on here for today is
okay,
actually your muffler analogy to creating data right the first time is less expensive. So is doing clean core right the first time.
exactly, exactly.
It's another way you can apply that concept. Whenever you do clean core the first time and actually move all that out, it winds up being less expensive, not only in the short term but the long term as well.
Yep, for sure. And it's manageable at the start. It becomes unmanageable 10 years down the road. So absolutely.